Another Bengals season opener, another loss to start the season. Joined now by local 12 sports digital columnist Richard Skinner. And Skinny, the only words I can really think for this one are ugly and sloppy.
Yeah, those are two perfect words, because the ugly was the overall performance on both sides of the ball. The sloppy was the two turnovers. One that Charlie Jones cost with a fumbled punt return that cost him 3 points. One for Tanner Hudson that go in the end zone, fumbles him, cost him 7 points. That's 10 points in what ended up being a 6-point game. The difference for sure.
And then you brought up the offense, those struggles. It seemed like throughout most of the day, the Bengals were working with second and long, third and long, really not able to get moving on offense.
Yeah, they never really found a groove other than the one drive in the run game, and I'm not sure why that was, because I really thought that was going to be a step forward for them this year, and it really wasn't. And listen, they didn't push the ball down the field a whole lot. It felt like they played offense in a phone booth, where it was a lot of quick passes, a lot of get it out of Joe Burrow's hands fast. And unless you're breaking tackles or getting yards after catch, you're not converting those into long gains. And to your point, then you're in some third and longs. In the first half, they didn't protect Joe Burrow very well. It's a myriad of things that came out of this game that just were ugly, to your point.
And this offseason filled with drama, distraction, Ja'Marr Chase, of course. Do you think that played a part, him not having all that practice? They weren't really able to open the offense up?
Yeah, how can it not? I mean, it has to, right? I don't think he on himself was a distraction during camp, but him not being there was a distraction of what they wanted to do with him on offense, which was put him in the slot more often. We saw it some today, but you didn't get a chance to rep it in training camp because he didn't practice in training camp. Then he has an illness on Saturday night. He has food poisoning. That probably hampered him and limited his snaps, and you couldn't maybe run him down the field as much as you wanted to. So, yeah, there is no question about that part of it. And the fact that on Friday he even said, I'm a game time decision. So that leaves a coaching staff going, this game plan or that game plan or this game plan. The player's not knowing if he was going to play. I think when push came to shove, most knew he would, but he didn't make it clear on Friday, and here he was, a game time decision. He still turned out to be their leading receiver on the day, which tells you a lot about Ja'Marr Chase's talent.
Now, the offense did struggle at times. The defense, played well, only allowed 16 points, but there were some issues, allowing over 100 rushing yards and then not able to get off the field at the end there to get the offense back out.
Yeah, and that was the theme last year. I mean, they really struggled to tackle last season, and we talked to Lou Anarumo on Wednesday, and he really thought, actually on Thursday, he really thought that it was going to be fixed, even though they don't tackle in camp. It's just, and they're not the only team. Teams just don't tackle in training camp any longer, but they thought it was going to be fixed. Yeah, I mean, to your point, 170 rushing yards. Ramondre Stevenson goes for well over 100 yards. And at the end of the game, you can argue whether they should have punted or not. That's fair as a fan. I get that part of it. But your defense is still allowed to get a stop there, and they could not. And New England's able to run out the clock.
And now, after that Week 1 loss to the Patriots, a game where pretty much everyone was taking the Bengals now have to go to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs next Sunday. Going to be an even tougher battle there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the good part to this is that they've been 0-2 before in the Zach Taylor era. They fought their way back to the playoffs off of that. They've been 1-1 once. They've only won one game out of the first two in the Zach Taylor era. They know how to do this, but I'm just worried about the whole situation. T. Higgins didn't play today. Is that going to linger? Is Ja'Marr Chase's situation with the contract going to explode? And how's Joe Burrow's wrist? Because I'm not so sure that thing's fully healthy yet either.
A lot of questions to be answered there. You'll be back here next Sunday and every Sunday throughout the season to be breaking down the games.